Comfortable sleep. I think most of us have a pretty good idea as to what that looks like, what we would want it to look like. Well, I think someone should compose a memo and pass it on to our feline friends, because turning yourself into a pretzel doesn't seem too appealing. It certainly doesn't look all that comfortable. Your cat's sleep positions, those weird positions, those funny positions. Why in the world would anyone choose to sleep this way? Limber up, ladies and gentlemen, stretch out. I've got you covered here today for this interesting topic. Stay tuned. Before I kick things off, just know that this video will focus, as the title states, a bit more on the weird side of things. So just the typical curled up in a ball, one leg hanging off the sofa. You know, the classics. I won't touch on these today, or those today, I should say. Those are rather standard, generic, and dare I say, normal. Now, let's check this out. It's on the screen. What do you make of that? I'll give you a second to take in this visual. Has your cat ever dusted this one off? Quite a scene, right? The spread bed, the flight pose, the Superman. I've heard many names for this sleep position, and weird would be a good word to describe it. The flat cat. Front legs and paws totally spread, the same for the rear. It is believed that cats sometimes assume this position as a means to A. Protect the belly in the midsection, the mid region, and B. Stand guard and ready for action. If the legs and paws are extended and not curled, a cat can wake up and be prepared to get the job done. I mean, heck, to some degree, it does look like an action pose, a bit, let's say, just a bit. Another reason for the belly flat posture is to conserve heat or cool down, depending on the circumstances. The exposed belly resting on that cool kitchen floor in the summer. That's hard to argue. But this visual, it's a weird one. If you were to see this in the wild, you'd probably stop and have a glance. Another strange one is it's not always about the position, but rather the location, the surface area. Out of all the places in your home to nap, why do cats sleep on the table, on the refrigerator, just any appliance you can think of? The reason, more times than not, is the vantage point. High and lifted up. Instinctually, a perch of this nature, regardless of the surface. That's a great way to catch those Z's while steering clear and staying clear of the potential threats that dwell at ground level. This is the same reason that cats like to relax and nap in a cat tree or in a window, anything elevated, even if it's just a couple of feet. It's preferable to the ground if they can swing it. So while the notion and perhaps the visual of your cat sleeping in a bowl on the kitchen counter is ridiculous, it makes sense. It's away from perceived danger if it's nothing at all. Next up, what about your cat sitting up? Have you ever seen your cat just sitting up on your sofa or at a different location, sitting up, just sound asleep? Strange, right? Felines can think their flexibility for some of these positions. If your cat can think it up, they can probably pull it off, especially if your pet is young and healthy. Cats can twist themselves into positions and places that we'd never dare attempt, and they also have no problem taking these postures during the dreamland hours. If you find your cat just sound asleep while sitting up, the first thing that comes to my mind is trust. Unlike that flat belly flight position, where the belly protection is the name of the game, the seated sleep is nothing but vulnerability. Your cat takes this posture, you're doing something right. With respect to your pet's living space, they certainly trust it, and they absolutely trust you. And speaking of you and your body, well, it's common for cats to sleep near you and on you. That's basic. But what about sleeping on your head? Not your lap while you sit on the sofa, but let's say you're in bed and your cat's asleep on your head. Hey, some cats just find this comfortable, almost like a pillow. The thought here is access. Everything that makes you, well, it's right there on your face, I suppose. This could be a source of security for your cat. If anything happens, hey, you're right there, and in this case, I mean literally right there. Let's pull another one from the strange locations file, shall we? I mentioned the tables and refrigerators and all of that a bit earlier, but what about all curled up in the litter box? First thoughts? Disgusting. From personal experience, unfortunately, I've seen this one play out a few times over the years for a variety of reasons, typically some type of health concern, unfortunately. Also, fear and anxiety. The idea here is that some cats feel a connection with their litter box, and I guess it's an obvious connection if you really think about it. But when trouble comes, some cats will seek refuge in that litter box, almost treating it like a security blanket. And speaking of boxes, cats love their boxes, litter and otherwise, not only for play but also for sleep, perhaps. Has your cat ever curled up and gone to sleep in a cardboard box, a shoebox? Please let me know. And here's one for strange positioning that involves the eyes. One eye open, one eye closed, one eye half closed, half open. But your cat is sound asleep, right? That's rather cool. Felines don't have to close their eyes the way we do in order to go to sleep. Thanks to a third eyelid, cats can head off to dreamland while still outwardly appearing to be somewhat awake. And of course, you can't talk about the eyes without showcasing this one. The paws, or the paw, a paw, over the eyes, over the face. My cats will do this from time to time. Felines will often do this to either shield the eyes or protect the face and provide extra warmth to the face and the eyes. And some cats, well, this is like a night mask. Tune me out from the rest of the world. One of my cats, she has what amounts to a bath towel, a shower towel, and she just rolls up like a burrito and goes to sleep, turning out and tuning out the world and the bright lights and all those loud commotions. Before I close things out today, and I've said this about a host of topics in the past, cats very rarely do anything without intent. And while certain things will often look a bit funny, perhaps even a bit silly or stupid, trust and believe whatever your cat is doing, there is intent behind it, especially when it comes to how they sleep, where they sleep, and what they look like doing it. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, has the strange and unusual become the normal? Does your cat assume a variety of strange sleep positions with some strange locations to boot? What's the funniest and most interesting? Your stories. The comment section. It's all yours. And if you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd certainly love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.